Hello everybody, welcome to this guide and tutorial for the golden shot. Difficulty level is hard and I'm going to give you 10 shots here, whereof 6 of them is a hole-in-one. And I'm going to try to explain to you exactly what my thought process are, and we're also going to take a look at the text guides and basically get you prepared to take your free shot in the best possible way. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the button in the bottom right corner. Also hit that bell button so you get a notification every time there is a live stream here on the channel. Also, you can get more free content on golfclashtommy.com. You have basically everything. We're looking for a major update on that website as well to add more information for you that you can get for free. Last but not least, get the best guides on the market, the tour and tournament ultimate guides you can find on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Link directly in the description down below. Can we get this video up to at least 500 thumbs up? If we could reach 1,000 would be absolutely insane. To everyone that do hit the thumbs up, thank you so much. So, Southern Pines, hole number 2 from the recent summer major is what we're gonna have for the hard version of the golden shot. We press in here and we're going to take a look at this hole, because this is, or has been at least in my book, very difficult when it comes to getting the speed correct, because we have always played on the left, use curl to get up on the bank and fall down towards the pin. Now, since they remade this hole for the summer major, the rough bump is the play that we are going to play, and we're gonna play that way in every type of wind. Even if headwind is going to equal a slight amount of overpower, that is the way that we're gonna play, just because the playing to the left, it's not going to really get your ball to have the perfect speed. So if we don't get the hole-in-one, we're most likely gonna roll outside the yellow, maybe even outside the red ring if we're using that type of shot. That's why we're going to play the rough bump all the time to maximize the possibility for some drops. If you do get the hole-in-one, it's the obsidian chest. Yellow ring is amber chest, crimson chest for the red ring, aqua chest for the light blue ring, and cobalt chest for the dark blue ring. And as I said, we play with the golden wood club every single shot. Maximum distance +5, which equals 2 per ring. So you can make it very easy for yourself and do it 2 per ring. It's gonna be very close. But look at the VPR table and use the VPR table if you don't use any type of calculator, because it could differ with a decimal here or there. So make sure you check the VPR table on the right hand side to use that as a reference. We will have a wind between 5 and 7 miles per hour, so not that much, like it's not gonna be 5 to 8 that we normally have. Let's take a look at the landing position here, and here you can see we're gonna play a rough bump, and we're using the inner ring, or as also called the green ring. Top of that just by the end of the rough with the ball guideline pointing to the hole. Very important, and this is before spin. So if you add spin before you find landing position, you will have an issue. So make sure you wait by adding spin until you have found your position here for your shot. And once again, we're gonna play max +5 is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you another picture. This is a picture to kind of demonstrate the overpower that we're going to use. If we do have a headwind, we will use somewhere between 1.5 to 2 rings of overpower. And how do you measure overpower in rings? That is by looking at the tip of the needle when you're going past the bullseye. So the tip of the needle is, as you can see there, just above the red ring, which equals 2 rings of overpower. So we're gonna want to have the tip of the needle to be halfway through the red ring to all the way through the red ring to judge overpower. But please have in mind, you do need to judge every time you have headwind on how much you are into overpower to get the correct amount. That's what makes this hole difficult. Every other type of wind is not going to be difficult, but with headwind we really need to focus so we do get the correct amount of overpower. And honestly, I do hope that you're not gonna get any headwind, because then I feel very strongly that you will be very close if not getting the hole-in-one at many times. But in headwind, we have still managed to make some hole-in-ones, and you will see it here on the channel. Enough talking about that, my friends. We're gonna take a look at the videos now, and then we're gonna summarize with the spin and the text guide in the end. So let's start off with some headwind, just for the sake of it, some headwind. We start with the top of the inner ring by the rough with the ball guideline to the hole. And now we're going to apply spin. And the spin that I want you to apply is that it's, you see here, it's 1.5 backspin is what I'm using. But I want you to play with 1.8 backspin in this one. And we're going to come to that in the end. Now, I do play this one 2.5 rings, and we do get into overpower. Very important that you do measure. And then we go back and play overpower, and having this one in this case being 1.5 rings of overpower for this shot. The ball clips the rough and it rolls down towards the pin. Very close for a hole-in-one, but we do need that 1.8 backspin to get that ball to stop at least inside the red ring, because that is what we do want to do. If we miss the hole, we do want to be inside the red ring. Otherwise, I would say that is not good enough. Tailwind and crosswind, northeast wind. And now we do have a little trick, my friends. And the thing is here is that first we're gonna find the position. Now we're gonna determine the spin based on if we're gonna adjust into the bunker or not. So in this example here, we are going to adjust down into the bunker, right? So you see here, we do adjust down. We're gonna play 2.6 rings. We adjust down into the bunker, and every time you do adjust down to the lower part of the bunker, you're gonna have to play with a very little amount of spin compared to what we otherwise want to do. And the reason for that is that we otherwise will come in too hot. So the thing that we're gonna do is that if we do adjust to a point that is just by the rough but still in the bunker, or into the rough instead of the bunker with a northeast or a northwest type of wind, we're gonna play that shot with 2.8 backspin. But if we do adjust down into the bunker completely with our target, like in a direct tailwind or in a northeast or a northwest wind, we're gonna play with 2 bars of backspin instead. That's a major difference. We're gonna talk more about that in the end. Headwind again, and now we do adjust 1.8 backspin and also a little right spin. Make sure that once again that you do measure once going into overpower. And now we're going to, with this type of wind, it's a low wind and it's more of an angle headwind, and therefore we're gonna play with 1.5 ring of overpower in this case. Gonna bounce nicely into the rough, coming in a little bit hot though, but it sits nicely into the red ring, and that's totally fine when it comes to headwind in my opinion. Crimson chest is what we do get here, and we're gonna see if we can't get any good cards. We do have the Sahara is not what we do want. Now, tailwind, crosswind, northeast wind, okay? Ball guideline to the hole, very, very important. No spin applied until it's time to take our shot. Now I'm using 2 backspin, you can see, and half a bar of side spin to the left. And remember, why do I use 2 bars of backspin here? It's because I fall down into the bunker. Once again, if I would be having a northeast angle or a northwest angle that would take me to not adjust down into the sand, you should be using 2.8 backspin instead, because adjusting down into the sand makes us lose distance, and if we do have too much backspin, we will go short. You can see 2 bars of backspin is absolutely brilliant with a wind that makes us adjust down into the sand. So very, very important. I know it's technical, but this is a tough par 3, and we do need to have that in mind when playing this shot. Now let's go with a headwind and a minor crosswind, I will have to say. Ball guideline to the hole, inner ring by the edge of the rough. And then it's time to apply spin, 1.8 backspin, and then a tiny bit of a right side spin here, just to compensate a little bit for the wind direction there. 6.5 gives us 3.3 rings. We adjust the 3.3, you can see that we go pretty heavily into overpower here, and here we should be very close, if not to 2 rings of overpower. In my opinion, that felt a little bit too much. We're gonna see the result here. Bounce very nicely into the rough, and we are actually measuring the overpower actually a little bit too little. But that's the difficult with making a shot with overpower, especially here on a par 3, that we do need to gamble a little bit based on our skill and feeling on, okay, that looks to be good in that type of wind, but we know it's going to be somewhere between 1.5 to 2 rings of overpower all the time. 6.4 tailwind and crosswind in the ring by the rough. And then we're going to play this one, as you can see, 2.2 backspin. Why do we play 2.2 backspin? It should be a little bit too much here when adjusting down into the sand. But you can also see that I play with a slight 1159 pull angle here, even though that was not intended to do so. Adjusting down into the sand here, ladies and gentlemen, and you will see this ball coming in very, very nicely. Perfect ball. And we do clip the rough, and you can see that this one just barely falls in. It falls in there, but comes in for a nice hole-in-one. Now we may be thinking, okay, should we play with 2.2 backspin instead? Nah, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna still keep the 2 bars of backspin with that type of wind when we fall down into the bunker. But as you know, we were a bit lucky here to have speed enough to get to the hole with that type of spin. Now 6.4 coming right to left, ball guideline to the hole. This is the first time we have a little crosswind, and now you're gonna see the weirdness with this hole here. Have in mind that with a northeast or northwest wind, we fall down into the bunker and we're using 2 bars of backspin. Now when we do have a wind coming right to left, you see that I'm only using 2 bars of backspin, but look at the speed that this ball is gonna come in with. 6.4, 3.2 rings. Time to take our shot. We do have a perfect ball. And we'll see this ball comes in here, and you see here, we do come in very hot on at the pin. If we wouldn't hit the pin, we would definitely have missed the red ring. So we do need to tweak that one a little bit and use more backspin. And that is something that we will do with shots coming forward here. But it's also good to see, you know, that the direction is okay. And obviously we're gonna be lucky sometimes, even if we don't have the correct speed to hit the pin and have the ball fall down. Headwind. Can we make a hole-in-one in headwind? Yes, we can, but it's gonna be much more difficult in my opinion. So let's make the adjustment. 1.8 backspin, and then we do a half a bar of side spin to the right. 5.2 gives us 2.6 rings. This is a low wind, but it's a more direct headwind type of wind. So you can see we just barely go into overpower. So 1.5 rings of overpower is what I would like you to go with on this type of shot. Perfect ball. And then it's time for the ball to bounce into the rough. And it comes in with a very nice speed, getting that one at the pin, fall down for a hole-in-one once again. So we do have a couple of more hole-in-ones to go, but I think we learn something every time we take a shot here on this in this guide. And guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If we can get over 500 thumbs up, that would be absolutely insane. Thank you so much. So now, direct tailwind. So now, once again, the weirdness with it that we do have a straight tailwind, we should technically be using way more backspin than what we do in headwind. But now I'm using 2.2 backspin and then ball guideline to the hole as a start. And then adjust. 5.1 is going to be 2.6 rings. So we do adjust, and then it's time to take our shot. But, you know, we can see we have maybe a little bit angled wind to northwest type of side, but we're playing it more as a direct tailwind. Bounces nicely into the rough and it rolls, and this is an absolute brilliant speed, which would have sit on the yellow ring if we wouldn't have gotten that one in the hole. But it's nice! It's always brilliant to get some hole-in-ones. It makes you feel good, you know, it's a good feeling to make a hole-in-one on the par threes. Castaway, it's just crap, but you know, we get some berserker balls in the end. That is what we're looking for. Now, crosswind coming right to left. Remember, we dropped this one with a 2 bars of backspin, but look at this backspin that we're gonna use here now. Ball guideline to the hole is what we're gonna do, and also the inner ring by the edge of the rough. But look, see here, I'm using, in this case, 2.5 bar backspin and 0.8 side spin to the right. And we adjust 3 rings, and then it's time to take our shot. Perfect ball. It's on its way. And it bounces nicely into the rough. We get a good first bounce and we roll that one right at pin for another lovely hole-in-one. And again, you know, it's nice to show hole-in-ones, but I do think it's even nicer to show it with different type of wind angle. And that is what we're looking for. We don't just want to be dialed in with a tailwind. We want to be dialed in with every type of wind that we do have for the golden shot to maximize the possibility to get some good drops and also then some good cards and berserker balls in the end. Now 6.1, now in a ring by the edge of the rough with the ball guideline to the hole. Now we're gonna apply spin. You can see here that I'm using more backspin than two bars, and that is because, look, I'm not gonna adjust down completely into the sand. I'm still going to be a little bit on the rough there with my inner ring, so that's why we add a little bit more backspin, because otherwise we will come in too hot. So that is something you need to adapt and adjust for based on, you know, your wind angle. And you can see here we come in hot, so we could actually add more backspin in a situation like this, and that is something that I will have shown in the text guide that we're going to summarize in a bit. So in the end, half a bar of left spin and 2.2 backspin, but we do need more backspin, otherwise we would roll too far. But again, we do have the pin in the way that makes it possible for us to make a hole-in-one. So in the end though, let's summarize it all with the text guide. So let's take a look at the text guide, ladies and gentlemen, and here you can see there is a lot of information here. And first and foremost, what a lovely job by Tony Richardson. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, that is in the description down below, the link to it. Landing position, top of the green ring on the rough line, the inner ring. A ball guide aimed at the hole before you add spin. Shot structure is going to be find landing position first, then we adjust rings, and then we add spins and then take shot. The reason we do have it in that order is because then you will adjust your rings, and based on if you adjust down into the bunker or not, especially in tailwind, you will make the decision then to add the spin that is necessary. If we do have a tailwind, we do play 2.2 backspin. If we do have a northeast wind coming left to right in tailwind, 2 backspin or 2.8 backspin with half a bar of left spin. There you can see there below 2 backspin if adjust into the bunker, 2.8 if not. That's the same, the wind coming northwest, right to left tailwind, the same type of structure, 2 bars of backspin if adjust into the bunker, 2.8 backspin if not, half a bar of right side spin. If we do have a direct crosswind, 2.8 backspin, half a bar of left spin, wind coming left to right. If wind coming right to left, 2.8 backspin and 0.8 right side spin. If we do have a southeast wind, we do play 1.8 backspin and 0.8 left spin. Wind coming right to left, southwest, 1.8 backspin and 0.8 right side spin. Direct headwind, 1.8 backspin, no side spin whatsoever. Use whatever overpower you pull into, typically 1.5 to 2 rings of overpower. And that also states what I said throughout all the videos, that using overpower is going to be necessary in headwind, and that's going to make it difficult. But once again, we do decide to play this route all the way through, as bouncing on the left using curl is going to be trickier, as it's also going to be very difficult for you to get the correct speed, as you most likely will come in too hot if you don't hit the pin and go in for a hole-in-one if going to the left. Now at least we do have a chance to get one of the inner rings if we are not directly getting a hole-in-one. But the difficulty once again is going to be by using overpower. Wood club max +5, and then we do have the VPR on the right hand side, wind 5 to 7 miles per hour. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this guide and tutorial for the golden shot. Difficulty level is hard. Make sure you send us whatever question you have that is Golf Clash related or business related to support at golfclashtommy.com. And I wish you the best of luck in the golden shot, and make sure you drop some hole-in-ones. Much love to you all, and good luck in the golden shot. Bye.